Yo, hey, this shit easy, nigga. Hey, all I'm talking about, nigga, I'm still out here trying to get it.
Contender Regime Boxing, checking back in with y'all, man. What's good? So it's been reported on multiple platforms, multiple boxing, forums, different articles published, different social media outlets, saying that Errol the Truth Spence Jr. has officially activated his rematch clause versus Terrence Bud Crawford. I believe these reports are deriving from an interview that Bomac, Terrence Crawford's trainer, did while overseas. I think he's overseas right now training Chris Eubank, I believe. Very interesting, and just want to give y'all my initial thoughts. First and foremost, I'm not surprised whatsoever. And shout out to the brother BFTB, Best Fight the Best, because he reported this way before Michael Benson and anybody else said anything about Errol Spence activating his rematch. And it's no surprise to me. I told y'all the video that I made why Errol Spence should take the rematch with Terrence Crawford. Why it's the most logical thing to do. Just if you put all the options on the table, you put the fact that this is the only leverage that he has to get in the ring with Terrence Crawford again, if that is indeed what he wants to do at some point down the line, with Terrence Crawford being 36, Terrence Crawford eyeing bigger and better things with, potentially fighting the winner out of Canelo and Jermell Charlo. He got Canelo on his radar now. Canelo has warmed up to the idea of fighting Terrence Crawford now. Jermell Charlo is definitely welcoming that opportunity, whether it's at 54 or 168. But Terrence Crawford got his eyes set on 168 right now because he wants to be 3-time undisputed, which is an incredible feat if he's able to accomplish that. Just him going up and fighting at 168 from 47 to 68 and fighting for undisputed, I mean, that right there, in my opinion, is a feat. You know what I'm saying? So, big nuts by Terrence Crawford. You dig what I'm saying? But he got a lot of options, Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence. If you look at him moving up to 54 and Terrence Crawford ultimately campaigning at 54, I don't think Crawford is really going to fight at 47 no more. Unless it's some, like a big-ass payday or some crazy that come out the woodworks. But I don't see that. All the big fights for Terrence Crawford is going to be is going to be 154 and up. So with that being said, I already broke down why this is the fight for Errol Spence, because it's going to be, you can get a big payday if you do the rematch immediately. Also, you have leverage to fight Terrence Crawford now, because everybody looking at the first fight like, why should Terrence Crawford fight you again? And he's looking at bigger and better things. Well, this is your leverage to make sure that you secure that rematch. So it's the only thing that should be on Errol Spence's mind right now if he plans on continuing to compete. And I love it. Like I said, it's no surprise to me. This is the type of guy that Errol Spence is. And the question is, what does Errol Spence do different in this fight? I think Terrence Crawford is going to be the clear favorite going into the fight. I mean, that's obvious. He was the favorite going into the first fight. And the way he performed in such spectacular and dominant fashion, I mean, he's going to be a huge favorite in this rematch with Errol Spence, right? So there's no questions on what Terrence Crawford need to do. Just be Terrence Crawford. Just do what you've been doing. Errol Spence, what does Errol Spence do differently in this fight? Does he, instead of being overly aggressive and just walking forward and, because I felt like he should have been aggressive like he was in the first fight, but more calculated. It seemed like, after the knockdown in the second round, he was just, he just threw everything out the window and just walked forward, mindlessly, and got caught with counter after counter. Does he box Terrence Crawford in the rematch? Does he take an approach of, boxing him like he did versus Mikey Garcia, who was also a phenomenal counterpuncher? Now, he don't possess all of his tools and the skills and the size that Terrence Crawford possessed, but he's still a great counterpuncher. Errol Spence was able to box him in the middle of the ring. Does Errol Spence take that approach, try to play the long game, take it to deep waters, and then start to press forward and be aggressive with Terrence Crawford? The question is, can he win enough of those exchanges in the mid-range, in the middle of the ring with Terrence Crawford? That's going to be a task. Terrence Crawford having the longer reach, Terrence Crawford being the faster fighter with the hand speed, foot speed also. You know, it's going to be a very difficult, no matter how Errol Spence chooses to fight this fight stylistically, which of course we know that he has different styles that he can bring to the table. He just chose that night to bring out the bulldoze aggressive Errol Spence. Maybe he boxes this time around, and I think it could definitely give him a different success rate. It could give Terrence Crawford a different look. Maybe just put his punches together off of the jab, but give more angles as opposed to coming in on a straight line. You know, just take more of a strategic and chess match boxing approach, which I think Errol Spence has very good boxing ability, and he's able to do that even with a fighter like Terrence Crawford. It's just a question of how does he combat the hand speed and the southpaw jab of Terrence Crawford, because Terrence Crawford had so much success in that first fight with the southpaw jab and punching in between Errol Spence's shots, getting there before Errol Spence get there. So it's a lot of questions for Errol Spence as far as what he can do different, what's the approach going to be. I'm not his coach. I don't know what the approach is going to be. I think he should definitely, be a lot more calculated. I think, fighting at 154, he'll have a lot more energy. So maybe instead of rushing, he'll be more inclined to take his time and box a little bit more and allow the openings to come to him instead of trying to force those openings. And maybe he can make Terrence Crawford make a mistake. I think in so many different ways Errol Spence can approach this fight, and him being in the ring with Terrence Crawford already also gives him, a level of confidence. Because if you look at it, I think ultimately if the ref didn't stop the fight, Errol Spence, he was so out of it from a competitive perspective that he wasn't even really able to defend himself. But the thing is, he was taking a lot of shots from Terrence Crawford, good, hard, stiff shots, and still getting back up. You know what I'm saying? He never got hit with nothing that made him like, oh my God, I can't continue. You know what I'm saying? Like, Terrence Crawford in that 9th round, he was hitting him with some flush, clean ass shots, and Errol Spence was still on his feet. He was wobbly and shit, but he was still on his feet. He was eating them motherfuckers. You feel what I'm saying? So that let me know, he can take Terrence Crawford's shots, at least not get knocked the fuck out by one shot like Terrence Crawford has done a lot of motherfuckers. So with that being said, maybe if he plays a little bit better on defense, be a little bit more sharper on defense, and could block and catch a lot of those shots. Also, get his head off the line, give more angles. I think he could have more success and take the fight into deeper waters and be more competitive than he was in the first fight. With all that being said, man, these just my initial thoughts, just brainstorming on what the fight could look like. And I want to get y'all initial thoughts on him activating the rematch. But shout out to Terrence Crawford, because again, he won the fight. I picked Errol Spence in the first fight, and Terrence Crawford proved me wrong. And you know what? I'm looking for Terrence Crawford to prove me wrong again, because I'm going with Errol Spence again, man. I'm going with Errol Spence again. Ain't no switching up over here. Y'all gonna learn soon enough. Ain't no switching up. If I'm rocking with a motherfucker, I'm rocking with him. You know what I'm saying? Dallas, Texas. Earl the Truth Spence Jr. all day long. That's just what it is, bro. You feel me? The brother got my support. Terrence Crawford got my support too, but when he fighting Errol Spence, he can be fighting anybody else except Errol Spence and Jermell Charlo. Anybody else, I'm picking Terrence Crawford. But Errol Spence and Jermell Charlo, no, y'all know who I'm rocking with. You feel what I'm saying? So I got Errol Spence in the rematch. I think, of course, stylistically, skillfully, looking at it from a film perspective, who's the favorite to win, it's clearly Terrence Crawford. I think Terrence Crawford showed that he was the better fighter in that first fight. But, and my mind tells me that Terrence Crawford is going to win this rematch. But I'm rocking with my heart on this one, bro. I gotta go with Errol the True Spence Jr. again. You feel me? I just admire the fact that, you know, he a real dog. After taking a beat down like that, you feel me? He ain't finna just run and tuck his tail. He gonna get back in the ring with him, you know, and shit, go back and get his. You get your ass whooped, shit, you go back and get yours. And if they whoop your ass again, hey, bro, at least you seen what the fuck it was. You feel me? But a true warrior spirit, a true dog, a true lion, a true shark, you feel me? He gonna go back and get his, man. How can you not love that? You feel what I'm saying? You know, how can you not love that, man? That's real goon activity. You dig what I'm saying? So may the best man win. You feel me? I would love to see a trilogy out this shit. Errol Spence go back, get his bike back. You feel me? They do a trilogy. You feel me? And the shit just go crazy. You dig what I'm saying? So y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comments. How do y'all feel about Errol Spence activating his rematch? Do you think Errol Spence has a chance? I know 97% of y'all gonna be like, man, Errol Spence, he ain't got no chance to win, man. Ain't no way he gonna win the fight. Hey, bro, I don't blame you. You know, Terrence Crawford put down he put on a beat down of a lifetime on Errol Spence in that first fight. But I'm rocking with my boy Errol Spence, man. I think the man done showed so much in his career to let me know that he can perform better than what he performed in that first fight. He can give a better account of himself. And I think he can go in there and put hands on Terrence Crawford. You know what I'm saying? And whoop Terrence Crawford ass, man. It's possible. Y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comments, man. Contender regime boxing. I'll holla at y'all boys, man.